Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today is twofold video. I recorded this earlier on the way to the cinema in the car, but the sound was shocking because it started pouring. I'm going to insert a little bit so you can hear what I was dealing with sound here. So this is just giving you guys that don't watch my vlogs that I do, which aren't very interesting incidentally. This is not me plugging my vlogs. I drive and talk a lot. This will show you what you miss. Rain. Ireland is a very rainy place, that's why it's so green. So as you can hear, I don't think very many people could have listened to that for 10 minutes. So you will see Molly pop in and out here. She's, there she is, hello. So I went to see Scream this evening at the cinema, so I'm here really to tell you what I thought of that. I won't go into a lot of detail, but also my weekly catch up. And I've watched very little this week, so I can do it very quickly, so I thought I would combine the two together. So this week I watched the 4 Scream movies to get ready for the new one. And I surprised myself in actually, now I have watched the first one a few times since it was released. The others I haven't. I've seen them once when they were released and that was it. And I was never entirely that impressed. Now, on the rewatch, I did enjoy 1, as I always have, and 2. 3 I thought was terrible and 4 was okay. So before I saw number 5, my order would have been 1, 2, 4, 3. And seeing number 5 tonight, we will get to that. So what else I've watched this week? There are 3 other movies. One was Mary and Max, which is a little claymation. Now I became aware of this through Kermit's Ghost's Instagram, which I can't believe I was even on Instagram. I'm rarely on it. So for those of you that send me emails on Instagram, apologies for the length of time it takes me to read it. I don't use Instagram very much. So Kermit's Ghost was posting a picture of this Mary and Max, and I think he said either that Jimmy Powell had sent it to him or had recommended it to him. So I watched it this week. It's a 12A, it's kind of dark, it's a bit depressing, but it's a really nice little story of a young girl who's very lonely, living in Australia, and she gets in touch with a man that lives in New York, a overweight man that just does nothing but eat, and he's very lonely too. She just randomly rips a page from a phone book in the library and she writes to this man and he writes back, and the whole story is about them writing back and forth. Now it is claymation, but it is certainly not for kids. It only is a 12A, but I don't think it would appeal to kids in any way. My son Isaac, who's 10, did watch 3/4 of it. He came in while it was on, and I think he quite liked it, but he didn't like how it ended, which I won't go into. He wanted a very simplistic sort of, he didn't really understand the complexities of what the movie was about. But I would recommend it. I do think it's a really nice little movie. Other than that, I watched The First Wave, which is a documentary. Aaron from Screen Stars spoke about that one on his channel. This is a documentary covering the first 4 months of the pandemic in New York. It mainly covers the medical staff in the hospitals. There's also the Black Lives Matter protests going on at the same time. We follow some individuals in the wards. There is death in this documentary. We sort of follow people's sort of story as to whether they got better or whether they didn't. It's very hard hitting, it's very sad, it's very worth watching, and it is something that, you know, it does put across the gravity and the seriousness that the world was dealing with when this pandemic, and to a degree now still, that's going on. And finally, I watched a lovely little movie called Riders of Justice. This is a Mads Mikkelsen movie, and he very rarely can do any wrong in a movie. He's an awesome actor. This is a movie about revenge, about a group of unlikely individuals seeking revenge on something that happens at the start of the movie. We've got sort of computer nerds in this. Mads Mikkelsen couldn't be further from a computer nerd. He's working with these guys. It just makes a really interesting mix. I really enjoyed it. My husband really enjoyed it. It's just a nice little movie. It's set at Christmas, so could you say it's a Christmas movie? Possibly. We could get into that whole Die Hard thing. Nothing Christmas about this whatsoever, apart from it's set at Christmas, but it will appeal to most people, I think. If you watch it, give it a go. It's called Riders of Justice, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I remember giving it a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I gave Mary and Max, I think, a 4 out of 5. The documentary, I think, a 3 or 3.5 out of 5. And the Scream movies, the order was 4. No, it wasn't. The order was 1, 2, 4, 3. And I went tonight to see Scream 5. So I will just insert a little bit of footage of me going into the cinema. I hate being late, folks. It's like 22 minutes past. The film started at 20 past. Bloody slow drivers. Here we go, screen 7.
28-mile range.
Oh.
Inspire your senses.
James Miller ship! Get your ear holes around that in my car on the way home from the cinema, hey? Reach the stars, fly a fantasy. Could be worse, folks. You could have to listen to me singing it. Dear God, there's Ed Sheeran in the car. Fucking hell. I took an arrow to the heart. I don't listen to this at all. Just a man that tastes like yours. Strawberries and something more. I don't know why I know the words. Honest to God, I promise. Lipstick on my guitar. Anybody watching Cobra Kai? Do you remember this little gem from Rocky showing up in season 4? Flipping awesome stuff. Right, you can have a few seconds of this. I'm copyrighted anyway. Oh, it's good stuff. Two worlds collide, revelations. It's a primitive act. Living years of frustration. Red mirror hope against our home. There is so much. Now you have a window into what it's like being stuck in the car with me, folks. So, Scream 5. What are my thoughts? I'm not going into anything at all. I saw a picture on Facebook on someone's wall this week that was a bit of a spoiler about something that was in the movie that I didn't know about. If you know me, you know I don't watch trailers really anymore. They spoil way too much. So something I didn't know was going to be in this, I kind of found out via a photograph on someone's wall, but I can't really talk about it because obviously spoilers. The most surprising thing about this movie, I did enjoy it, was that it made me like the character of Sidney Prescott. And I've always said that she really annoyed me. As a final girl, I never liked her. Apologies to Joe from Geeky Hijinks, who probably was the only person with me that had that feeling about Sidney. But as I watched all the Scream movies close together and I saw her get older, and especially in this latest one, she's more laid back, she's more mature, I found myself warm to the character of Sidney and I actually liked her. So that's the biggest surprise for me from the whole process this past few days of watching the 5 Scream movies, is I like Sidney Prescott and I didn't before and now I do, so that's changed. In saying that, I haven't seen any of the other movies in many years, so maybe my taste has changed a little, I don't know. But I really enjoyed this. I liked the humour, I liked the kills, I liked the gore, I liked the story. It was quite tongue-in-cheek in places. It didn't take itself too seriously, but it wasn't as silly as some of the others have been, where they concentrate, like 3, where they concentrate so much on the humour, everything else is lost. Some nice appearances in it, like the original characters that everyone knows is going to show up in the movie, and then we have the new characters, how they sort of like explain, you know how they do in the Scream movies, they explain why it's all put together and how it's put together. I liked all that. So I think the phrase we use nowadays is meta. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, and believe it or not, my order now is 1, 5, 2, 4, 3. I could do a whole video telling you that, but I can just do it as quickly as that. So I would highly recommend. I really enjoyed it. So let me know in the comments below what you think. I shall now be able to watch people's Scream reviews, which I haven't up to this point. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you've seen it, what you thought, or would you be tempted to go watch it if you weren't a big Scream fan, based on me not being the biggest Scream fan, really enjoying it. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I will check in with you guys next week. Over and out from Lisa Lives.